Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're stepping into, well, a truly special space, tuning into Baha'i on Air. We're exploring profound spiritual virtues from the Baha'i writings. Our focus today is on the meaning and, importantly, the application of caring. It's a virtue that feels incredibly vital, doesn't it? Especially now in a world that often feels a bit fractured and, well, deeply in need of connection. We've got a rich stack of sources for this deep dive, centering around the essence of divine love, caring, compassion, and service. Our mission, really, is to extract the most potent nuggets of wisdom on what caring truly means, not just as, a fleeting emotion or a polite gesture, but as a driving, transformative force in our lives. As the writings themselves suggest, and we'll unpack this as we go, caring is not only an inner virtue, but an outward commitment, an active concern manifest in service, kindness, and generosity toward all. So let's begin to unpack this beautiful concept. Let's reflect on these sacred passages that reveal caring as a divine quality, something intrinsic maybe to the very nature of existence, motivating us to radiate love and service across the world.
It's quite striking, isn't it, how this very premise immediately elevates caring. It's not just a passive sentiment, something we might occasionally feel. Instead, right from the start, it's presented as this dynamic, active force. A divine quality, as you said, meant to truly motivate our lives.
Yeah.
This takes us far beyond simple empathy or, fleeting compassion. It hints at really profound practical, spiritual, and even societal implications. Our task today is really to explore how these texts guide us in embodying this active concern, moving it from just an abstract idea into, tangible reality.
That's a perfect framing for our discussion. Let's start right there, with this foundational idea that caring is just inextricably linked to love, and not just any love, but a divine love. It really does seem to be the wellspring, the source from which all genuine caring flows. Our first passage gives us a truly, cosmic perspective on this.
It does, and it raises a powerful question right away. What kind of love are we actually talking about here specifically? And how does such a grand foundational concept of love then translate into the everyday practical virtue of caring that we can actually embody? It's about bridging the infinite with the immediate, isn't it?
Absolutely. Our first passage is from Abdu'l-Bahá. You can find it in selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Bahá on page 27. I'll read it for you now. Service to the friends is service to the kingdom of God, and consideration shown to the poor is one of the greatest teachings of God. Know thou of a certainty that love is the secret of God's holy dispensation. Love is heaven's kindly light, the Holy Spirit's eternal breath that vivifieth the human soul. Love is the cause of God's revelation unto man, the vital bond inherent in accordance with the divine creation in the realities of things. It's fascinating, isn't it, how this passage immediately connects love to very specific, tangible actions. Things like service to the friends and consideration shown to the poor, clear actions. But then it describes love in such profound, almost mystical terms. The secret of God's holy dispensation, the vital bond inherent in the realities of things. How do we really connect these two, this grand, cosmic understanding of love and the very practical acts of caring and service in our daily lives?
Well, what's revealed here is truly profound, I think. This text isn't just suggesting caring is, a nice human trait or something culturally learned. Instead, it presents it as an essential, fundamental aspect of reality itself, a vital bond, as it says, woven into the very fabric of things. This suggests that love isn't merely an attribute of God, it's more like the animating force of existence, the underlying principle holding everything together. So when we understand caring through this lens, it's not just about being kind, it becomes a deeply spiritual act, a participation in the very structure of the universe, an expression of this fundamental divine love. It means we're actively recognizing the inherent interconnectedness of all beings. And those specific examples given, service to the friends and consideration shown to the poor, they aren't just random good deeds. They are direct, tangible manifestations of this vital bond. They show us how this profound universal love translates into concrete support and empathy, both for our immediate community and, crucially, for those who are most vulnerable in society. So when you genuinely care for someone, maybe when you extend yourself in service or show consideration, you're not simply performing a good act in isolation. You're actually aligning yourself with a fundamental principle of the universe. You are, in a way, participating in the divine order, becoming a conduit for this vital bond. This understanding gives a truly profound spiritual weight to every single act of kindness, whether it feels large or small. It means your acts of caring aren't just isolated incidents, they're part of a continuous universal flow of love. It really takes the idea of being kind from just a simple moral choice to, a spiritual imperative.
That truly does elevate the concept. It's not just a sentiment, it's a cosmic principle in action. Yet how does this grand, almost abstract idea of love, the axis around which life revolves, how does that manifest in our everyday interactions, in the very fabric of our routine lives? What does it truly mean to take that vital bond and make it a tangible reality for the person right next to us?
It's about bridging that gap, exactly, translating the spiritual, the immense, into the intensely practical. How does that cosmic truth actually land in our ordinary, sometimes mundane moments?
For that, we can turn to another passage from Abdu'l-Bahá. This one's found in Paris Talks, from a talk given on October 21st, 1911. Let me read it for you. When we observe the phenomena of the universe, the axis around which life revolves is love. Unity and agreement, love and fellowship are the cause of life. Let us care for one another not in word only, but in the acts of daily kindness, in the spirit of true compassion. So again, we're told the universe revolves around love, this beautiful, expansive idea. But then almost immediately, we're given this very direct, very actionable instruction. Care not in word only, but in the acts of daily kindness. What's the significance of that shift? From the grand cosmic statement to the practical, moment-by-moment application.
The striking element here is precisely that transition. From the universal, the cosmic principle, right down to the immediate tangible application. It reiterates love as the fundamental axis around which life revolves, and yes, the cause of life itself. Powerful stuff. But then it delivers the critical instruction: active, manifest caring. This is where the concept really solidifies. It's not enough to intellectually grasp it or even just to feel love deeply. One must embody it through consistent, conscious acts of daily kindness and by cultivating a spirit of true compassion. This really emphasizes that love, to be real in the world, must be expressed. It moves us beyond just good intentions to actual demonstration. This passage firmly establishes caring as an active, dynamic virtue, not just a passive state of being. It means that true caring requires tangible, observable demonstration in how we interact. It's about more than just having good intentions or speaking kind words, though those matter too. It's about performing those small, consistent acts of kindness, maybe holding a door, offering a genuine compliment, really listening attentively, or helping someone with a task. These are the things that truly embody the spirit of compassion. This is precisely where the rubber meets the road, as they say. It's where our inner understanding of love becomes visible and truly impactful in the world. It calls for us to be proactive, actually, to seek out opportunities, even small ones, to express that inherent love. And this challenges you, our listener, to look at your daily routine, at your interactions, and ask yourself, where can I inject more acts of daily kindness? It's a powerful reminder that genuine care is ultimately seen through your actions, through the way you carry yourself and interact with others, not just heard in your words. It implies a continuous conscious effort to translate that internal love into external reality, transforming even mundane moments into expressions of divine connection.
And that active caring, we're told, should extend universally. It seems to stem from a profound recognition of a shared divine dignity within everyone. It almost suggests that our own self-worth is intrinsically linked to how we perceive and treat every other soul.
It raises an important question, doesn't it? How does valuing oneself truly lead to valuing others? And what's the practical implication of caring for someone with divine dignity when maybe they might be challenging or difficult to interact with? How does that work?
This next passage is from Bahá'u'lláh, found in Gleanings from the Writings of Bahá'u'lláh, section 27. It says, "My majesty is my gift to thee, and my sovereignty is my sign unto thee. I have created thee rich, why dost thou abase thyself? Out of the essence of knowledge I gave thee being. Value thyself as I have valued thee, and care for others with the same divine dignity." Care for others with the same divine dignity. That phrase is just so powerful and deeply personal. It seems to directly link our recognition of our own inherent self-worth, our own divine spark, to how we then treat every other individual. What's the profound implication of that connection for our understanding of caring?
This text is incredibly insightful, I think. It suggests that recognizing one's own inherent divine worth, that majesty and sovereignty bestowed by God, indicating a kind of spiritual nobility, isn't just about self-esteem. It's actually presented as a prerequisite for truly caring for others. The idea seems to be that you cannot genuinely uplift someone else or treat them with that profound respect if you haven't first recognized and valued the divine spark within yourself. And logically, if that spark is in you, it must by extension be in them too. So the instruction to care for others with the same divine dignity implies a profound respect, an understanding of the sacredness of every individual, regardless of their circumstances, their background, or even their outward appearance or behavior. It's about seeing beyond the superficial, beyond the potentially challenging exterior, to the divine essence within. even when it's maybe obscured. So caring, in its purest form then, isn't merely an act of charity or worse, condescension. It becomes an act of profound recognition and honoring of the divine essence in every single person you encounter. It elevates caring beyond a mere social obligation or a fleeting feeling of pity to a spiritual imperative, one deeply rooted in self-respect and the recognition of a shared, universal divine origin. This fundamentally changes how we care. It's with unwavering respect, without judgment, always acknowledging their inherent, undeniable worth. It transforms the dynamic of helping. It's not us helping them. It's more like one divine essence recognizing and supporting another. Imagine how that shifts in interaction when you're truly looking for that divine spark in someone, even if they're being difficult. It moves beyond just tolerance to, well, genuine reverence.
That provides a truly potent spiritual foundation for why we care. It's not out of pity then, as you say, but out of this deep understanding of shared spiritual value, recognizing God's handiwork in every soul. And following that idea of divine dignity, we're even told to mirror God's own care for us. It sounds like a divine mandate for how we should live.
It certainly begs the question, how does mirroring God's boundless care for us translate into our finite human capacity for caring? And what does that imply about the quality and scope of our care? It's a huge leap, conceptually, from human to divine.
This next passage is from Baha'u'llah's The Hidden Words. It's Arabic No 11, and it's very direct. O son of being, thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance, and seek none other than me. For I have created thee rich, and have bountifully shed my favor upon thee. Manifest my care to others as I have cared for thee. Manifest my care to others as I have cared for thee. That's a pretty direct and, frankly, awe-inspiring instruction, isn't it? It's like we're being asked to be conduits of divine care, almost to participate in the very act of God's beneficence in the world. How do we, as finite beings, even begin to reflect such boundless and perfect divine care through our own human lives? It seems like a huge ask.
It's a huge shift in perspective, absolutely. The text isn't just suggesting we be kind, it implies we're actually conduits of divine attributes. The explicit direct mirroring principle means God's boundless favor and unwavering care for humanity are presented not just as an example to follow, but as the actual standard and the very impetus for our own caring. This reinforces that profound idea that caring isn't some external add-on to our spiritual nature, but something inherent to it, a reflection of the divine within us. The injunction, manifest my care to others as I have cared for thee, implies a proactive, unconditional, and abundant form of caring. Not just a reactive one that responds only when need arises. It suggests that our capacity for caring isn't limited by human frailties, but is, in fact, endowed with a divine capacity to reflect God's generosity and thoroughness. This means you, our listener, you're not just being nice or performing some social duty when you care. You're actively channeling and reflecting a divine attribute, participating in God's ongoing benevolence in the world. This prompts a powerful question. How does that, understanding the idea that you are a vessel for divine care, how does that change your approach when you encounter someone in need? Or maybe when you're faced with a challenging interaction that calls for compassion. It moves caring from a simple good deed to a sacred act of channeling the divine, reminding us that we have a boundless source to draw from.
So, if caring is this divine conduit, this manifestation of universal love, how does it then transform us? It seems it's meant to be more than just an action or set of behaviors. It's meant to be a fundamental change of being, an internal revolution that becomes outwardly visible.
Exactly. And it raises an important question. What does being essentially different truly look like in practice? And how does this transformation impact not just the individual, but the effectiveness of our actions in the world?
Yeah.
How does it make a real difference?
For this, we have a really powerful statement from a letter written on behalf of Shoghi Effendi, dated February 14th, 1925. It's quite direct, quite challenging. We must become entirely selfless and devoted to God so that every day and moment we seek to do only what God would have us do. The Baha'i spirit is carrying love and harmony. Unless we show this transformation in ourselves, unless our lives are essentially different from those around us, the Baha'i teachings are but a name to us. Unless our lives are essentially different, the Baha'i teachings are but a name to us. That's a powerful wake-up call, isn't it? It places caring not just as an important virtue, but right at the center of our very identity as individuals striving to live by these teachings. It makes the abstract spiritual principles concrete through our lived experience, through how we actually are in the world.
This passage is incredibly direct, yes, and quite uncompromising. It states plainly that caring, love, and harmony are the very essence of the Baha'i spirit. It emphasizes that inner devotion and understanding of the teachings must translate into outward, visible transformation in one's life. Without this tangible demonstration, the teachings, no matter how profound we find them, remain theoretical, just a name. This means true caring requires a fundamental, continuous shift away from self-focus towards a God-centered orientation, aligning one's daily actions, thoughts, and intentions with divine will. It's a call for radical authenticity and embodiment of belief. Therefore, caring isn't just an admirable addition to one's life. It's presented as a core, indispensable component that should fundamentally alter one's character and daily actions. It means consciously striving for selflessness, actively fostering harmony in all relationships, and trying to emanate love in every moment. This profound transformation isn't just for personal spiritual growth, though it certainly aids that. It's the authentic proof of one's beliefs, a living testimony to the power of these teachings. It makes me think about how easy it is to get caught up in the big ideas, the grand concepts, but the real test often comes in those small, everyday moments where we actually show this transformation, or perhaps fail to show it. So this challenges you to reflect. Is your caring a superficial act, maybe done out of obligation or habit? Or is it a deep, genuine reflection of a transformed heart, a life truly devoted to spiritual principles? How is your life essentially different today because of your conscious commitment to the principle of caring? This is where theory becomes reality for each of us, isn't it?
And this transformative spirit, this embodied caring, is exactly what the world so desperately needs right now. It suggests that our actions speak so much louder than any words, acting as a kind of magnet for positive change in a world craving connection.
It really highlights caring as a primary instrument for both societal healing and, interestingly, spiritual attraction. It positions caring not just as a personal virtue, but as a dynamic methodology for profound outreach for connection.
The next passage, again from a letter written on behalf of Shoghi Effendi, this one from December 18th, 1943, reinforces this very point. The world needs today the Baha'i spirit. People crave love, high standards, and solutions. Baha'is should shower on those whom they meet the warm and living spirit of the cause. This, combined with teaching, cannot but attract sincere truth seekers. Hearts are reached not by words alone, but by the life that embodies divine compassion. Hearts are reached not by words alone, but by the life that embodies divine compassion. It's not about preaching, it's about living it. That seems so clear. It sounds like caring becomes our most powerful form of communication, a silent yet incredibly potent form of teaching.
Absolutely. This passage underscores that the world's deep needs for love, for higher standards, for real solutions, are best met not just through intellectual arguments or doctrines, but through the palpable demonstration of the Baha'i spirit itself. The warm and living spirit is directly equated with divine compassion embodied in one's life. This makes caring an active and profoundly effective form of outreach and teaching, far more potent perhaps than mere verbal explanation or intellectual discourse. It's about demonstrating the transformative power of the teachings through one's very existence, creating an undeniable gravitational pull for those who are genuinely searching for truth. So caring here is presented as the magnetic force that truly draws people towards spiritual truth and a higher way of living. It implies a generous, overflowing, and consistent demonstration of compassion in all our interactions, creating an atmosphere where others can genuinely feel loved, aspire to higher standards, and maybe discover real solutions to life's challenges. It's about being a living, breathing example of the virtues and principles you espouse, rather than just talking about them. For instance, think of someone you know who consistently radiates calm and kindness, even when things are stressful. Their actions often speak far louder than any words they could say about their beliefs, don't they? This offers a profound insight into your own potential influence, our listener. Your caring actions are a universal language, understood across cultures and backgrounds, and they potentially attract others to positive change and spiritual transformation far more effectively than any argument or explanation ever could. Your life itself becomes the message.
And this magnet of love, this actively embodied caring, even creates healing and unity within communities. It suggests that collective caring has a tangible, transformative impact on the environment around us.
It's quite remarkable when you think about it. The tangible, observable impact of collective caring. The passage directly links the presence of love and harmony within a community to measurable positive outcomes, confirming new souls, providing healing, strength, unity. It's not just a nice feeling, but a potent social force.
We have an example of this from another letter written on behalf of Shoghi Effendi, dated October 27, 1944. He was happy to hear that Greenacre was pervaded with love and harmony, instrumental in confirming new souls. This love amongst believers is the magnet which, above all else, attracts hearts to the cause. Where love is felt, people find healing, strength, and unity. An example from Greenacre, where love is felt, people find healing, strength, and unity. It sounds like caring creates not just a welcoming atmosphere, but a veritable sanctuary, a place where profound transformation can actually occur. What does this tell us about the collective power of caring when it's truly embodied by a group, by a community?
This passage is fascinating because it really moves beyond individual caring to the immense impact of collective caring. It explicitly states that love amongst believers acts as a powerful magnet for spiritual confirmation and provides a concrete context for healing, strength, and unity. This is an abstract theory. It's about creating an environment where caring is so palpable, so pervasive, that it fosters profound positive effects on individuals and entire communities. It validates the idea that caring, when shared and actively practiced, builds resilient, attractive communities that become beacons of hope and spiritual growth for others. It emphasizes that the collective atmosphere generated by caring love and harmony has a tangible, almost gravitational pull, drawing people in. This means that fostering an atmosphere of genuine love and harmony within one's community, whether it's a family, a neighborhood group, or a larger spiritual community, is paramount. This collective caring provides a visible, living example of the transformative power of the teachings. It offers solace, profound connection, and a sense of belonging to those who are seeking it. It emphatically highlights the communal aspect of caring and its immense capacity to heal divisions, provide strength, and foster unity. Think about the feeling you get when you walk into a space where true warmth and acceptance are genuinely present. That's the kind of environment this passage describes, I believe. And this invites you, our listener, to consider the environments you inhabit or contribute to, and maybe even those you seek out. Are they places where love is felt, where healing, strength, and unity can truly emerge through collective caring? It prompts you to think about how your individual acts of caring contribute to this larger tapestry of communal well-being and attraction.
Okay, so we've talked about what caring is, how it transforms us internally, and how it can attract others and build communities. But how specifically does this profound transformative caring manifest in our interactions with the broader world, particularly beyond our immediate circles? What are its active public expressions?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, why something as seemingly simple as courtesy is given such a high station, even called the Prince of Virtues, especially when we're talking about something as profound as divine love and universal caring. It seems to be elevating a common social grace to a really significant spiritual principle.
Our next passage, from Abdu'l-Bahá, Selections from the Writings of Abdu'l-Bahá, page 88, addresses this directly. Love is the spirit of life unto the adorned body of mankind, the establisher of true civilization, the shedder of imperishable glory upon every high-aiming race and nation. Courtesy expresses love for humanity. We have chosen courtesy, and made it the true mark of such as are nigh unto him, O people of God. I exhort ye to courtesy, for it is indeed the prince of virtues. Courtesy expresses love for humanity, and then it's called the Prince of Virtues. That really elevates what many might consider just simple politeness or good manners, doesn't it? It frames courtesy not just as social etiquette, but as a fundamental, foundational expression of profound love for all humankind. What's the deeper meaning behind this emphasis on courtesy? Why is it so important?
This passage is quite striking. It tells us that basic courtesy is far from trivial. It is a fundamental, accessible, and highly visible expression of profound love for humanity. It acts as the establisher of true civilization, precisely because it lays the groundwork for respectful, dignified interaction among all people. It's an outward sign of an inward disposition of respect and deep care for all people, regardless of their differences or social standing. By calling it the Prince of Virtues, it's being elevated to a position of utmost importance, signifying that it's a foundational virtue upon which many other virtues can then be built. It's a consistent, active choice to manifest love in even the smallest, most fleeting interactions. Imagine a society where every interaction is genuinely imbued with courtesy. How transformative would that feel? So caring in this crucial context means elevating our daily interactions, even the most mundane ones, to a sacred level through conscious acts of courtesy. It suggests that every polite word, every considerate gesture, every respectful interaction is not just good manners. It's an active contribution to building a true, harmonious civilization. It's about consistently demonstrating dignity and inherent respect to everyone you encounter, recognizing their shared divine worth, as we discussed earlier. This challenges you to think about your daily interactions, from the simple exchange with a barista, to maybe a heated discussion with a colleague, to a brief encounter with a stranger on the street. Is your courtesy truly expressing a deep love for humanity, or is it merely rote behavior, something automatic? This challenges you to view simple politeness not as a trivial act, but as a powerful, deliberate act of profound caring and civility.
But caring isn't just about external actions like courtesy. It's also deeply tied to our inner state and how we approach knowledge and learning. It suggests that the pursuit of truth and understanding should be intertwined with the compassionate heart, fundamentally changing how we acquire and use knowledge.
It's fascinating how it spiritualizes the entire learning process. It truly moves learning from being a purely intellectual pursuit to being a transformative spiritual journey, a journey of the heart as much as the mind, wouldn't you say?
Our next passage, also from Abdu'l-Bahá, found in selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Bahá, page 110, beautifully illustrates this connection. O thou true friend, read in the school of God the lessons of the Spirit, and learn from love's teacher the innermost truths. Open the scrolls of the soul, that thy heart may be a fountain of kindness and thy words a balm to the wounded. Let caring be the essence of thy learning, and love the ink with which thou writest upon hearts. Let caring be the essence of thy learning, and love the ink with which thou writest upon hearts. That's just so beautiful and poetic. It doesn't just connect learning to a compassionate heart. It makes caring the essence of learning. How does this reframe our understanding of education in the pursuit of knowledge? It feels like a very different purpose than simply acquiring facts.
Well, what's profoundly highlighted here is how this passage redefines the very purpose and nature of learning. The school of God and love's teacher are powerful metaphors for divine guidance and spiritual insight. They imply that true learning isn't just about intellectual accumulation or rote memorization. Instead, it's a profound process that actively cultivates a fountain of kindness within the heart and ensures that one's words become a balm to the wounded. The key phrase, "Let caring be the essence of thy learning," suggests that knowledge without an animating spirit of compassion is somehow incomplete or even sterile. It means that the ultimate purpose of acquiring knowledge, especially spiritual knowledge, is not just personal enlightenment. It's to serve, to uplift, and to heal others. Knowledge becomes a tool for active, compassionate service. This means that genuine learning, particularly spiritual and moral learning, should directly lead to a palpable increase in one's capacity for kindness, empathy, and compassion. It calls for knowledge to be infused with a deep sense of empathy, so that it can genuinely uplift, comfort, and provide solace to others, becoming a source of healing rather than just mere information or intellectual prowess. It's about knowledge that transforms the self, and in turn transforms the world, creating a positive ripple effect. How does your pursuit of knowledge translate into more caring actions or more healing words in your own life? This invites you, our listener, to reflect on the deeper purpose behind what you seek to learn, challenging you to ask if your knowledge is merely for personal gain or if it is becoming a wellspring of kindness for those around you, a means to, as the passage says, write love upon hearts.
Expanding on that idea of learning and sharing, we find that caring for the soul of another is presented as the absolute highest form of education, moving beyond the mere acquisition of facts.
It raises a vital question. Why is the act of caring for another's soul elevated to the highest act of learning, higher than what we typically consider intellectual pursuits? What does this imply about the true purpose of education, of learning itself?
Our next passage, again from Abdu'l-Bahá, selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Bahá, page 126, clarifies this. The mightiest pillars of the faith are learning and the spreading of the sweet savors of God. He that loveth his kind showeth kindness to all creation. Therefore educate thyself in divine mysteries and teach them lovingly to others. Caring for the soul of another is the highest act of learning. Caring for the soul of another is the highest act of learning. That's a profound statement, isn't it? It completely reframes our understanding of education and what it means to truly acquire and apply knowledge. It suggests a spiritual and compassionate dimension to learning that goes way beyond mere intellectualism.
This text provides a critical insight. It means that intellectual understanding of divine mysteries, while important, is ultimately incomplete without the compassionate application of that knowledge to uplift and nurture others. True learning, therefore, isn't solely for personal enlightenment or intellectual satisfaction. It's for the spiritual nourishment and growth of all humanity. The passage emphasizes that genuine kindness, flowing naturally from a deep love for one's kind, meaning all human beings, will inevitably extend to all creation. The apex of this learning is not merely accumulating facts, but actively engaging in the spiritual well-being of others, nurturing their souls. This implies that education and teaching, when viewed through this lens, become acts of profound caring. It's not just about imparting information or facts, it's about nurturing the spiritual growth, the capacity, the overall well-being of others. It underscores that our pursuit of knowledge should culminate in selfless service and compassionate guidance for others' spiritual journeys, helping them to find their own path and unfold their true potential. It's knowledge put into loving action. Consider a teacher who doesn't just convey facts, but genuinely cares for the development and happiness of each student. That's this principle in action, isn't it? This challenges you, our listener, to consider how you share knowledge, how you engage in teaching, whether formally or informally. Are you merely informing, or are you genuinely caring for the soul of another through your teaching and interactions, seeing it as an opportunity for mutual spiritual upliftment? It calls for a deeper reflection on the purpose of knowledge itself and its ultimate human impact.
And this active, learned caring helps us to overcome some of our deepest personal obstacles. Those subtle enemies of true service like pride and indifference. It's like a spiritual litmus test for genuine virtue, for whether our caring is authentic.
It's quite insightful, this contrast between superficial, fleeting external qualities and the enduring, profound beauty that comes from inner cultivation and selfless service. It provides a clear spiritual compass for true growth, for what really matters in the long run.
For this, we turn to another passage from Abdu'l-Bahá, selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Bahá, page 204. Mortal charm fades away, but the soul's beauty, born of loving service and humble kindness, grows brighter with time. Well is it with that countenance that reflects the splendor of the light of the Beloved One. Let not pride veil thee from the beauty of service, nor indifference turn thy heart away from the suffering of others. Let not pride veil thee from the beauty of service, nor indifference turn thy heart away from the suffering of others. This directly warns against those subtle enemies of caring pride, which makes us self-important, and indifference, which makes us oblivious to the needs around us. It seems like true caring requires an active dismantling of these internal barriers, a conscious struggle within ourselves.
This passage is remarkably direct, yes. It powerfully contrasts fleeting mortal charm, superficial external attractiveness, with the enduring, intensifying soul's beauty. And that soul's beauty is explicitly stated to be cultivated through loving service and humble kindness. It directly identifies pride and indifference as the primary obstacles to authentic caring and selfless service. It implies that true beauty and spiritual radiance are not inherent or static qualities, but are actively forged through selfless attention to others and a genuine, empathetic response to their suffering. It serves as a profound internal compass, guiding us towards true spiritual development by pointing out what truly lasts and what truly illuminates. This passage serves as a vital guide for self-assessment, encouraging us to deeply recognize and actively overcome these potent internal barriers to genuine caring. It underscores that true spiritual growth and the cultivation of an attractive soul involve a continuous struggle against the insidious forces of pride and indifference. It calls for an embrace of humility and a conscious, deliberate effort to make compassionate service and attentive responsiveness to suffering a central and distinguishing focus of our lives. It's about aligning our inner landscape with our outward actions, recognizing that true splendor comes from selflessness, not self-absorption. This encourages you to examine your own heart, our listener. Are pride or indifference subtly, perhaps even unconsciously, hindering your ability to serve, to truly see, and to genuinely care for others in your daily life? It's a call to honest introspection and continuous spiritual work, because these are internal battles we must constantly be aware of and actively fight.
So we've talked about what caring is, how it transforms us, and how it manifests in active expressions like courtesy and the spiritualization of learning. But who are we meant to care for? Is it just our immediate circle, our friends and family? Or does it have a boundless scope? And how can we truly embody this universal, tireless form of caring?
It raises an important question for us all, doesn't it? How do we, as human beings, realistically extend the same loving kindness to strangers and alien souls, as the text puts it, as we perhaps more effortlessly give to our closest friends and family? What's the practical pathway to such radical inclusivity when our natural instincts might sometimes pull us inward towards the familiar?
Our next passage is from Bahá'u'lláh, from the Tablet of the World, found in the compilation Tablets of Bahá'u'lláh. This really expands our understanding of who our care should encompass. Ignite a candle of love in every meeting. Care for the stranger as for one of your own. Show to alien souls the same loving kindness you bestow upon your faithful friends. Let there be no outcast, no soul left in sorrow where your light has shone. Care for the stranger as for one of your own. Show to alien souls the same loving kindness you bestow upon your faithful friends. This is incredibly expansive, saying there should be no outcast. It's not just about tolerating difference, it seems, but actively embracing it with the same warmth we give to those we already love. What does this radical inclusivity mean for our understanding of universal caring? It feels revolutionary.
This passage truly mandates a radical universal application of caring. It means consciously breaking down all conventional barriers of prejudice, fear, perceived difference. It's an active instruction to seek out, embrace, and genuinely include those traditionally marginalized, those who are perceived as other, or those outside one's immediate circle of familiarity and comfort. The powerful imagery of igniting a candle of love in every meeting and leaving no outcast, no soul left in sorrow emphasizes proactive inclusion and the complete elimination of all forms of social exclusion. It's a call to create spaces and interactions where absolutely everyone feels seen, valued, and loved. Think of the conscious effort it takes to truly extend that deep, personal kindness you feel for a loved one to a complete stranger, perhaps someone you might even have an initial bias against. That's the challenge laid down here. This means that true caring is truly boundless, extending equally and unconditionally to every single human being, regardless of their background, their beliefs, their social status, or any perceived otherness. It challenges us to actively and deliberately foster inclusion in all our spheres of influence, and to ensure that no one is left feeling isolated, marginalized, or sorrowful in our presence. It calls for a conscious, continuous effort to bridge divides, to dismantle prejudice, and to build genuine connections through acts of profound kindness and empathy. This challenges your comfort zone, our listener. How do you actively extend your circle of care to those you don't know, to those who might seem different from you, or even those you might instinctively shy away from? It's a call to expand your heart, to encompass all of humanity, making this divine instruction a tangible reality in your life, transforming communities by eliminating the very concept of an outcast.
And who better to exemplify this universal, tireless caring, this radical inclusivity than Abdu'l-Bahá himself? He seems to be presented not just as an ideal, but as the ultimate living standard for what this profound caring looks like in action.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it, that Abdu'l-Bahá is presented not just as a revered historical figure to admire from afar, but as the living embodiment and the practical standard for the virtue of caring in its purest, most universal form. It makes the abstract ideal concrete and somehow aspirational.
This passage is from accounts compiled by Shoghi Effendi in the book The World Order of Bahá'u'lláh. Abdu'l-Bahá's extraordinary qualities of character and service brought great prestige to the community and promoted ideals of peace and unity. His life of perfect kindness and tireless service is a standard for those who would care for the world's afflicted. Let each of us strive to embody even a spark of his selfless love. His life of perfect kindness and tireless service is a standard. This gives us a concrete living example of what this kind of profound, universal caring looks like in action, not just in theory. It's a powerful invitation to emulate his spirit, even if just a small part of it, in our own lives.
This passage is incredibly insightful because it presents Abdu'l-Bahá, exactly as you said, not just a historical figure, but the living embodiment and practical standard for caring at its highest. His extraordinary qualities of character and service, particularly his perfect kindness and tireless service, are directly linked to tangible outcomes, like bringing prestige to the community and promoting ideals of peace and unity globally. The call to embody even a spark of his selfless love makes this incredibly high standard approachable. It encourages incremental yet consistent effort in our own lives rather than making us feel overwhelmed by the enormity of his example. It shows that the ideal is achievable, even if in small measures, through persistent striving, and that even a small spark can ignite great change. This emphasizes that while the ideal of caring in its full scope is vast and profound, its practical application is demonstrated through a life of selfless, continuous service to humanity. It means looking to examples of extraordinary compassion and boundless love, like Abdu'l-Bahá, and striving, even in small but consistent ways, to emulate that same unwavering dedication to alleviating suffering, fostering unity, and extending love to all. It provides both inspiration and a concrete blueprint for action, showing us that this profound caring is not beyond our reach if we strive for it. This provides such a powerful role model for how you can deepen your own commitment to caring, our listener. It invites you to reflect. What does even a spark of his selfless love look like in your daily choices, in your interactions, in your approach to service? How can you draw inspiration from such a high standard to elevate your own capacity for caring day by day?
We've seen caring as an action, as a force for community building, and as a universal imperative. But where does it truly begin, this profound capacity for love and service? It seems the writings point inward, suggesting it starts from within, from the very core of our being, the heart.
That's it, isn't it? If we truly connect this to the bigger picture, it means that true external caring isn't merely a behavioral adjustment or putting on a good face. It flows fundamentally from an internal purification and cultivation. The spiritual heart is presented as the absolute wellspring of all true virtue.
For this fundamental insight, we turn to Bahá'u'lláh. From Gleanings from the Writings of Baha'u'lláh, section XC. This passage is both a counsel and, well, a profound promise. O Son of Spirit, my first counsel is this. Possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart, that thine may be a sovereignty ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. Cleanse thy heart, that it may become a mirror of divine love, and show forth the qualities of caring, compassion, and understanding toward every soul. Possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart. Cleanse thy heart, that it may become a mirror of divine love. This makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? That the inner state, the condition of our heart, is absolutely paramount. It's the foundation upon which all outward acts of caring are built, and without it, our caring might lack true depth or authenticity. It truly is an inside-out transformation.
This passage lays out a foundational principle, absolutely. True, authentic external caring is not simply a matter of adopting certain behaviors. It flows intrinsically from a profound internal purification and cultivation of the heart. A pure, kindly, and radiant heart isn't just described as a desirable quality. It's identified as the source of true spiritual sovereignty, an inner dominion that is ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. Powerful words. The heart needs to be actively cleansed so it can fully reflect divine love. And in doing so, it naturally shows forth the qualities of caring, compassion, and understanding toward every soul. It's an inside-out process. The inner spiritual transformation precedes and enables the outward manifestation of virtues. Without this inner cultivation, our outer actions might risk being hollow, or at least less effective. This highlights that genuine, impactful caring originates from a deeply cultivated and purified inner state. It emphasizes the critical importance of continuous spiritual self-reflection, introspection, and purification to allow the heart to become a clear vessel for divine love. When the heart is cleansed and radiant, it naturally and perhaps more effortlessly manifests as boundless compassion and profound understanding towards every individual, moving beyond judgment or superficiality. Think of a fountain. If the source itself is pure, the water it pours forth will inevitably be pure too. This challenges you, our listener, to look inward. What active steps are you taking, or what practices are you cultivating to truly possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart? To make it the foundational wellspring for your caring actions in the world. It's a call to prioritize inner work as the essential basis for outer service, understanding that true, lasting change begins at the core of our being.
And this inner cultivation, this striving for a pure heart, can be seen so beautifully through prayer, where we explicitly ask for the capacity to embody this profound caring. It's not just a passive request, is it? It's more like an affirmation of our desire to be conduits of divine attributes, consciously aligning our will with the divine.
It's quite powerful to see the active voice of the prayer itself.
Yeah.
It transforms abstract spiritual desires into very specific, actionable pleas for divine assistance. It frames one's entire life as a sacred instrument, really, a vessel for divine qualities.
Our final passage is from a prayer of Baha'u'lláh, referenced in the compilation Prayers and Meditations by Baha'u'lláh. Let me share this profound plea with you. I beseech thee, make of my prayer a fire that will burn away the veils which have shut me out from thy beauty. Make my life a sign of thy caring mercy and a vessel for thy loving kindness. Help me to serve thy loved ones and to uplift the hearts of the sorrowful. Guide me to walk in paths of compassion and to behold all humankind with the eyes of love. This prayer is just a beautiful synthesis of everything we've discussed today, isn't it? Asking for our prayers to purify us, for our lives to be a visible sign of thy caring mercy, to actively uplift the hearts of the sorrowful, and so profoundly to behold all humankind with the eyes of love. It's not a passive hope, but an active, heartfelt plea for the very capacity to care, to be a channel for divine love in the world. It pulls all the threads together into this heartfelt desire for transformation.
This passage truly demonstrates that cultivating profound caring is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing, deeply spiritual endeavor, one that often requires sincere and continuous divine assistance. It powerfully frames one's entire life as a sign and a vessel for divine attributes, for thy caring mercy and thy loving kindness. The explicit requests for guidance in paths of compassion and the ability to behold all humankind with the eyes of love directly connect personal spiritual growth and the inner purification of prayer to the outward capacity for boundless service and universal caring. It's a recognition that while we must strive, divine grace is essential to fully manifest these lofty virtues. It's an active seeking, an opening of the heart to become that conduit. This prayer offers a powerful template for your own reflection, our listener. What specific aspects of caring are you asking for help with in your own life? How can your own existence become a more potent sign of thy caring mercy in the world, actively reflecting the divine attributes you seek to embody? It's a profound invitation to align your will with divine purpose through the humble yet powerful practice of prayer.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive into the virtue of caring. We've really journeyed quite far, haven't we? From understanding love as the secret of God's holy dispensation, the very axis around which life revolves, that fundamental bond inherent in all things, to seeing how this profound caring transforms us, making our lives essentially different and a magnet attracting others to healing and unity.
Indeed, we've seen caring manifest in its active expressions, from the quiet dignity of courtesy, which is called the Prince of Virtues, and even the establisher of true civilization, to the spiritualization of learning, where caring is the essence of thy learning, and even further, that caring for the soul of another is the highest act of learning. And critically, we've understood that true caring extends universally, to the stranger as for one of your own, with Abdu'l-Bahá's life of perfect kindness and tireless service as our guiding standard.
And perhaps the most powerful takeaway, for me at least, is that caring isn't just an external act of service or kindness. It profoundly begins within the heart itself. It's an inner state that must be cultivated, purified, to mirror divine love. And this capacity is constantly sought and strengthened through sincere prayer, striving always to manifest my care to others as I've cared for thee. It's a journey from the inside out, aligning our deepest intentions with our most visible actions.
This leaves us with a truly compelling question for you, our listener, to carry forward from our discussion today. Given the profound, universal, and transformative implications of these teachings on caring, how might this deeper understanding inspire you to engage differently in your daily interactions, particularly perhaps with those outside your immediate circle, or those who are facing significant challenges and suffering? How will you actively try to embody this divine quality in the tapestry of your own life, recognizing its power to transform not just individuals, but the very world around you?
That's a beautiful thought to carry with us, a profound question to reflect upon in the days ahead. As we wrap up this devotional deep dive, remember that this journey into spiritual virtues continues. It invites us to constantly explore, reflect, and apply these timeless truths in our lives. We invite you to join us again next week for another profound exploration. Our focus then will shift to another vital virtue highlighted in the Baha'i writings: certitude. Gilly, thank you for diving deep with us today.